Hello. Today we're going to be talking about some sulfur mines. I finally got to go down there. It's kind of wild. I don't know how long it's been since the Valencian update came out, but yeah, I finally got to go down there and it was nice and quiet and peaceful for once. So I will say, just kind of fair warning, this is my first time actually ever grinding sulfur mine. I've never once came here to grind at all, so I'm a little rusty with it, and by rusty, I'm a complete noob when it comes to grinding this spot. I'm not sure what the rotations are. I'm not sure how to run them efficiently, so you'll just have to bear with me here. So I am aware that you can make about 200 mil with just a yellow loot scroll. However, I made about 215 with the yellow and agris. So it's a bit of a toss-up on how to get it done. Maybe it's just Zerker grind. I don't know. Maybe I should have ran Succession and just kind of speed run a bit faster, but other than that, it was actually still rather good. I used about 50k agris, which kind of burns a little bit knowing that I can make 200 with just a yellow, so definitely gonna have to get comfortable with the rotation and actually learn how to run it properly, or maybe play a better class for speed running. But for the most part, this was actually still rather good. So before we get into the trash loot and all the nitty gritty stuff, I do want to mention that this spot is open at the moment just because distortion earrings are back up. So a lot of the people are now back at Star's End, so that way they can grind for distortions, and the market is going to crash. This is just fair warning because I already looked at it. They were at 320 when I first got on, and then by the time I got off the game and started cooking, they are now worth about 290 million. So they're already going down because console players are actually retarded. So it is what it is. You'll have to just play it by ear, but I saw the market shift and took my ass down to Sulfur since it was going to be overran by a bunch of players. With that being said, let's now move on to the trash loot and see how good Sulfur's actually is. So taking a look here, I pulled 11.7k trash, which translates to about 215 million silver, which, like I said, it kind of burns me a little bit knowing that I could definitely do this without the loot scroll, or not without the loot scroll, I'm sorry, without agris, but it is what it is. Until I get comfortable, this is what I got, which is still actually not that bad, except for the fact that I burned 50 fucking k agris for this, so I'm kind of pissed. Outside of the trash loot, we did get a decent amount of Caphras, 12 per hour. It's not terrible. It could be better. If I pulled about 20, I'd say that's a pretty nice cozy spot just for, 20 Caphras per hour. That's actually really good. On top of that, we got some scrolls, roughly about 7 or 8. I think it's about 8. I think it's about 7, I think. Anyway, outside of that, we have the 62 armor stones and 35 weapon stones, which that's not that bad either. And if we did factor in a Cecil's necklace, they're selling for about 10 mil right now. So that's an extra, little bit of silver on top of your stuff. So overall, we're looking at roughly around 250 to 260 mil, around that ballpark, with everything being sold. So knowing that I could make this kind of money without agris at all is the part that impresses me, because that's literally 200 mil with just a loot scroll. Just a plain loot scroll, easy 200 some odd million right there. For, I think it's about the highest I've ever seen was about 10,000. I think I saw a witch do it. It was like 10.2k trash on a yellow scroll, which is very impressive. So having that knowledge in mind, knowing that Sulfur is that consistent, I would say this is hands down like the best loot scroll spot in the game. In terms of just raw silver and consistency of getting that every single time, Sulfur is great. It's literally stonks. Like you can't go wrong with Sulfur, because yellow loot scroll equals 200 mil unless you get griefed or something, or you fuck up somewhere like I did. It's 200 mil depending on your class and how comfortable you are with running Sulfurs. So no matter how you try and slice and dice it, you can say, well, Star's End, I pulled a disto and I got 100 mil in trash, so therefore Star's End is better. Star's End is good. I've always said Star's End is always going to be relevant. It's always going to be good because that distortion drop, even when they're super fucking low. If the distortions, I was running that shit when it was down to 150 mil per disto, I was still making money. Sometimes I would pull 2 distos in an hour. It's literally 500 mil just from my trash loot and the distos alone. It's like, it's great. And not to mention the Caphras that you get there, the fuckloads of stones. It's literally always going to be a relevant spot because distortions are always going to be in demand at some point or another. Even at their lows and at their highs, they are always going to be relevant. So Star's End is going to be great regardless. But if we're just talking consistency and you're like, well, I want to make 200 mil in like a couple hours. Guess what? Sulfur is the only spot that you're going to run to that's going to do that for you easily without any kind of trouble. You don't have to rely on Kaffir drops. You don't have to rely on BMCs. Just straight trash. Sulfur's is stonks. And since I read the market shift and saw that distos were all the way up right now, this worked out perfectly. I made like damn near about 600 mil just trying to run it and get used to the rotation and stuff like that. So I sat down there for about 3-4 hours. I was comfortable. It was great. I was only pulling about, I think, 8k trash per hour with just a yellow loot scroll. So that's about the average for my Zerker. Maybe I should try Succession to see if I can push it to 10. But 8.8, like 8.5, 8.8k, that's not that bad. It's actually pretty decent. So with that being said, I honestly just I got really nothing to say. I mean, Sulfur's great. It's really just it's just a great spot. The consistency is fantastic. You don't even need buffs, so you don't have to invest anything. Yeah, I mean, fuck it. Sulfur is literally great. Until everyone starts coming back to Sulfur, it's pretty much be my home for a while. So yeah, I'm gonna enjoy the free money up until it gets overran again, and then I'm gonna dice back and go all the way to Star's End and just keep rotating where the people aren't, because that's the way you should play this game. Because if you go where the population is, you're gonna get griefed, you're gonna get bothered, and that's that's pretty much how I bought my pens. Is I stayed way the fuck away from everybody else and made my money in peace. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye bye.
Yeah, she knows I'm the one. Yeah, she knows I don't need no